Now, if the Brexit deal is rejected, as appears, there appears likely to be 3 scenarios going forward. Let's look and examine the 3 that we are talking about. First of all, if tomorrow she loses, well, they've only got a short time to do anything, even if just put a sticking plaster on. So you're looking at a no-deal Brexit. Crash out, no deal, the default option. A very small number of people seem to believe this is the perfect Brexit because it leaves with, and you can build up from there. The next, of course, is some form of a new election or referendum. In either case, this would be called by the vote of no confidence would be called by the opposition. She'd lose, and it would be decided new referendum. What's the beauty here? Theresa May could seek a new mandate, or the people could be forced into making a new choice. This is highly controversial because it goes into the realms of what does it mean, the UK democracy. And then finally, of course, renegotiate. Now, let's be clear about this. The EU has said it won't renegotiate. The EU, even today, in its letter to Theresa May, made it quite clear that nothing was going to alter the withdrawal agreement and the political declaration. So of all these options, as you look at them, what's interesting, of course, is that if this no deal becomes very likely, and this is highly dangerous, well, one wonders whether this becomes the default option that they have to go to. Option, not a possibility of Brexit not happening. Bianca's with me. Bianca is outside Parliament. I think I've summarised the 3 major potentials, but I'm sure you perhaps have got 1 or 2 more.
Well, there are so many options. That's why all the MPs keep referring to it as uncharted territory and why there's so much uncertainty. What we're seeing today in the Prime Minister's last-ditch attempt to try and win over support from her backbenchers and from some moderate Labour MPs is an attempt to try and avoid a crushing defeat tomorrow. The question around Westminster is not if her deal is going to fail tomorrow, it's by how much. That's why it's being referred to in political circles by some people I know as Operation Figleaf. That's because she's trying to cover up the fact that she hasn't really been able to get any more assurances from the EU which tangibly change anything. And the reason why it's important for her to avoid that crushing defeat is, Richard, as I'm sure you know, there are actually 2 types of confidence votes. There's a formal confidence vote, which we could see Theresa May face, tabled by the Leader of the Opposition later this week. And there's also an informal confidence vote, and that's when a government can't pass its key legislation. Now, Theresa May is synonymous with her Brexit deal. So if this fails to pass by triple digits, potentially reaching up to 200, making it one of the most historic parliamentary defeats, if not the worst historic parliamentary defeat in British history, she will not be in a very strong position, and it's very difficult to see how she continues with any semblance of authority after that.
Yeah, I suspect it would be up there with those votes of the Second World War that were regarded in similar ways, and certainly the length and time of its effects. But here's a look: her own backbenchers are going to vote against her tomorrow, but in a vote of confidence, she would have them with her, and it would then be up to the DUP whether they were going to support the government or let it fall. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
We are, but if we just imagine that hypothetical scenario, that's the curious thing about a confidence vote, is of course it makes the government of the day look incredibly vulnerable, the fact that it's even got to that point. There have been very few confidence votes since the 19th century in British history. However, it does have that other effect of unifying the party which is being called into question. So it is likely that MPs that will be voting against the Prime Minister's deal will vote for the government in a confidence vote, and several have come out on record and already said that. However, there's a few Brexiteers who you have to wonder, are they taking the position that they're taking against the Prime Minister's deal because they also have designs on their own personal advancement and leadership ambitions? And that's certainly the case. Of course, there's talk this week about who will be replacing the Prime Minister if she can't get her deal any further. So we have to consider that too.